Happy Friday, Weedsport.
I'm Antonia Tortorello.
And I'm Noah Hickok.
And you're watching Warrior TV. We're so glad to be back for week 2 of Warrior TV, and we hope you all are really enjoying it.
It's going to get better and better.
Yep.
Next week will be the last quiet week before the craziness of Mayfest, prom, finals, and regions getting going. While there isn't a ton of news to discuss for the coming week, we wanted to share a couple of things that students should be thinking about right now.
The school budget vote will be held on May 21st, and while many students aren't able to vote, it will impact everyone, as the budget decisions ultimately will dictate everything that happens at Weedsport next year. Highlights from the $21 million proposal that directly impact students include funding for materials and supplies for science and art, the creation of a new varsity school bowling team.
Whoa, I can actually do a sport now.
Auditorium lighting, classroom furniture upgrades, cybersecurity improvements, and a new school bus.
There is also a proposed project to create a digital production space that includes audio and visual production equipment.
Yeah, that would help out Warrior TV a lot, and so we could do a lot better episodes than this year.
Be
Just
awesome
make
to
it
have
better.
a studio.
Yeah.
If you are 18, you can vote on the 21st, but if not, make sure to tell your parents to go out and vote.
In other news, a new student senate has been hard at work coming up with ideas of how to improve the school. One of the ideas being discussed is a change to the starting time of the school day. Now, we want to stress this isn't guaranteed to happen, but they are looking for student feedback on the possibility of it happening. We will have a poll on our Johnny Green Instagram starting today at noon, where students can vote on what they think would be the ideal starting time of the school day. So please check out WHS Johnny Green on Instagram and vote by Tuesday.
The weather has been frustrating so far this spring, but hopefully we will start to see things dry out soon. Let's send it over to Tate Tamando to find out what we have in store this week.
Good morning, Weedsport. I'm back, and my name is Chief Meteorologist Tate Tamando. As you can see here, we have the interactive radar going, and this is Thursday morning at around 7 o'clock. So this is what we got. It's going northeast, so this is not going to hit us. This might turn into something else, which is about, Friday night. We might get some rain. As we go over to the 14-day forecast, this is today. And Saturday's prom. It's unsettled, 20% chance. We don't exactly know what's going to happen yet. I'll keep you updated next week. But as you can see, hopefully it's going to start drying out so farmers can get their stuff in and lawn mowed, hopefully. And so yeah, back to you, Noah.
Thanks so much, Tate.
You might have seen a lot of discussion in the news recently about the measles outbreak occurring all over the country due to parents not vaccinating their children. But what you might not know is that the vaccine that prevents these kinds of outbreaks was actually developed by a Weedsport alum. Dr. Paul Parkman graduated from Weedsport in 1950. He was part of the team that developed the vaccine. Interestingly, he wasn't even the valedictorian of his class. That honor went to his wife, El Marina. Both of them sat down recently with the Johnny Green's Alexandra Leonardi to discuss their time at the school, and Dr. Paul Parkman discussed his vaccine.
What was the best part of high school? Well, I think that I really liked, I didn't like a lot of high school, but I liked, one of our teachers was very, very good, and because of her, I think I liked Latin.
And I liked high school. I liked school in the first place, and I liked the courses I was taking. We probably met in first grade or kindergarten or whatever the first.
Well, that's true because we went through school together. So we weren't always in the same class, but most of the time, and we didn't think there was anything special about us.
No, we didn't, pay attention early on.
No.
Not until a lot later.
It wasn't until the senior year, probably.
Yeah, it was the senior year, and I think what really did it was we worked on the yearbook together.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes.
And that was what made the difference.
Yeah.
We knew we were in love then.
It was pretty dull study, actually. Most of these guys just had runny noses and so on. But one ward in this hospital had all the guys with rashes. And we said, we went around and made rounds. We went around and looked at the patients, and they said a lot of them, maybe 80–90% of them had German measles. And we thought, well, that's really interesting. So we took some specimens, throat swabs and other things, and took because we knew at that time that the German measles virus had never been isolated. Except one day, I had an idea. And the idea was maybe there was another, I had read about a technique that people had used for cold viruses, and it wasn't a very good test, but there was a test for cold viruses, and so I said maybe if I use that on our German measles laboratory specimens, maybe that would tell us something. And so, and sometime in 1961, Mel Artenstein, who was we were working together, I said to Mel, why don't we see if we can show this, we have some new technique to look for German measles virus. And so he said, fine. And so we went and we tried, and the first day, nothing, we didn't expect anything. And the second day, some of the cultures looked different. And then on the third day, we said, wow, they are really different. I wonder if we haven't isolated German measles virus. And of course, the answer was yes. It was amazing. To be able to do that was amazing. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it that we were able to do that. And it means a lot. If once you can isolate the virus in a laboratory test tube, you can do lots of things. You can look for a vaccine, for example. And so that's among the other things we did with that German measles, was to look for possibilities for a vaccine. And it worked out. It all worked out. It was amazing. I tell you, I still can't believe how that
well, you worked
changed
hard.
my life. Yeah.
Well, it did, but you worked hard, and you thought of things to do. Well, I think that it's important to, when you're in school, to study and to do well in school. To get good grades, and also it's important to like what you're doing.
Great story, Alexandra. Thanks. Spring sports teams battled their opponents in the rain last week, managing to get in some contests while others were canceled. Here's Monty Steinman with your WarriorTV Sports Report.
What's up, Warriors? Welcome back to another week of Warrior TV Sports. I'm your host, Monty Steinman, and as you can see, our crew has been working hard behind the scenes making upgrades. We hope you guys enjoy it, and a huge thanks to Cassie Stanfield for making it all work. Without further ado, let's jump right into this busy week of sports. This week, we're going to get started with varsity baseball. Heading into their contest last night against Cato, the team was on top of the Patriot League with a 2-1 league and 7-2 overall record. Unfortunately, the team's game with Bishop Ludden was rained out Tuesday, but they beat Moravia 15-3 on Wednesday night behind 3 RBI efforts from Jake Hickok and Braden Curry. Jake Brown added a pair of RBIs as well. Moving on, let's catch up with the golf team. The team is still looking for their first victory of the year after falling to Jordan Elbridge on Monday by a score of 303-234. On Wednesday night, the team showed some improvement, shooting 297 against JE. Senior Libby Nemec was named one of Wheatsport's Athletes of the Month for May, and her coach Nick Wilson stated that in her second year alone, she has dropped 20 strokes. Nice job, Libby. The varsity track teams competed against Bishop Grimes and OCS Wednesday. The girls' team won by scores of 106-34 against Grimes and 102-38 against OCS. The boys' team also picked up a pair of victories by scores of 102-33 against Grimes and 106-29 against OCS. Warrior TV's own Jocelyn Keppel was out shooting video at the event, and we have some highlights to share. We start out with a look at Allie House finishing with a strong kick to win the 400 meter. The girls also benefited from a great day by Mariah Quigley, who won both hurdling events and was part of the winning 4x4 relay. Next up, we see Nick Blauer starting off the winning 4x1 relay and handing it off to Landon Keppel, who teamed with Justin Miles and Max Horsford to win both relays. Blauers also won the 100 meters and triple jump. Both the boys and girls varsity track teams host the Wheatsport Invitational today after school, so make sure you get out and support if you can. Moving on, the girls varsity softball team was a victim of the bad weather this week as they had 2 games rained out. Hopefully, they will have better luck with the weather today as they are scheduled to have their biggest game of the year against Port Byron. The winner will be first place in the Patriot National League. Joining us today to talk about this huge game and the season in general is star pitcher Lauren Spingler. Thanks for joining us, Lauren.
Yep.
So far, you guys have been off to a great start. What has been some of the keys to the team's success?
I think we work really well together. It's a small team, so we have to really trust each other, so I feel like we've been doing that really well.
Awesome. Secondly, what are some things you think the team will need to improve as you gear up for sectionals?
Less errors. I find that we are making them, and that's a lot of times why we are getting runs scored against us. Not so much hitting, just simple errors that we can fix, but I think we can do it.
Finally, what are your thoughts on the huge game scheduled for tonight against Port Byron?
I think we just need to go in there with a clean head and not thinking about the last game, which was kind of a devastation, but I think we got it. We just got to keep up doing what we've been doing.
Another huge thanks to Lauren for joining us. Finally today, with the NBA playoffs heating up, the Johnny Green's very own Tim Fiacco set out around school to discuss the action with the biggest NBA fans in Wheatsport. We will wrap up Warrior Sports with a look at what he found out. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next week.
I'm Tim Fiacco from WarriorTV, and we're going to ask Wheatsport students about their NBA playoffs.
I think the Warriors are playing pretty nice, but they're playing really dirty right now.
Harden is on all fours. They'll watch it again.
It's amazing how tremendous these athletes really are. Just amazing. Unbelievable. But they do complain a little too much to the referees. I mean, it's like, come on, just play.
Almost had possession of the ball, too. Lowry red hot when we come back to Philadelphia.
I think the playoffs are pretty exciting, but truthfully, I'm not as excited as I normally am for the NBA playoffs. I think it's because no LeBron James.
Houston's going to make it all the way. And it's going to be the Bucks versus Houston. And Giannis is going to pull it out. He's going to average 41 points a game, 11 rebounds a game, and 2 assists.
Golden State and the Bucks.
Okay, thank you.
I think that the Milwaukee Bucks are gonna win the finals. I got Bucks in 6.
Throws down the slam. He's mean mugging. If you reach,
Rockets in 5.
Thanks, Monty. That was a great look at the NBA Finals from Tim. Who do you think will win the finals, Noah?
One of them.
one of them.
There's a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
Which I definitely know.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too. We will wrap up this week's show with a look from the Johnny Green's Chris Chalker at what Wheat Sports students thought of Avengers Endgame, and also what summer movies they are looking forward to. Next week will be packed with stories about prom and Mayfest, but if you have any ideas or suggestions of anything else you would like to see on Warrior TV before the end of the year, you can DM us on Instagram at WHSJohnnyGreen. Thank you for watching Wheat Sport.
Bye-bye.
I thought it was really good. Great way to end the whole thing. It was very nice how they tied it in with the time travel and all that. And even if you don't follow all the movies, it's a great way to just go see an action movie.
So what were your overall thoughts on Endgame?
Overall, I thought Endgame was like a really incredible movie. I thought it did a really good job of tying like the past 10 years of like combined Marvel movies together, and I thought it was like a good way to end like what's been going on for the past decade.
I think that they're probably going to go towards either more Captain America or Captain Marvel, because they're really important characters in the Marvel universe, and they still have a lot of potential to be continued on.
I think it's going to take a lot of the new characters like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Spider-Man, and like maybe like make a whole new arc to them without like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers.
Shazam, Spider-Man, Far From Home, and Godzilla.